Welcome to Dr. DC Verma Economist YouTube class. In this class, we will recollect facts, policies, social and economic related to 1956 Industrial Policy Resolution, which was passed in 30th April 1956. This is known as Constitution of Industrial Economy of India. It is treated as Constitution of Industrialization in India. We all know that in 1948 there was a policy, and that industrial policy worked 8 years continuously. And during that period in the parliament, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, Prime Minister, declared that there will be no nationalization of industries which are working in India and were established during British period. But in order to activate industrialization in a progressive rate, it would be necessary to increase more industry under public sector. And therefore, in 1956, 30th April, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru clearly mentioned in the parliament that our economy is following the continuous application of 1948 industrial policy with some changes. Industrial policy of 1948 was accepted by India in the parliament, and mixed economy was established in India, and therefore this mixed economy will continue. Industrial policy of 1956 is divided into 20 points. If you see the Government of India industrial policy document, then there are 20 points. These 20 points are most important for future course of action taken by the government. And this 20-point industrial policy starts by the first point. What is the first point of industrial policy of 1956? First point of industrial policy of 1956 states that there is successful implementation of Industrial Policy Resolution of 1948, and India is declared to a mixed economy. This will continue. There is declaration in 1948 industrial policy that many areas are left open to the private sector. But for progressively increasing the rate of industrialization in India, it is also written that a state or government has power to establish any industry which is necessary for the industrialization of India. Therefore, there will be some permutation combination of industry, and previous classification, that 4 classification industry will be rearranged, because it is already declared in 1948 industrial policy that government has power to interfere in any sector, in any industry, and therefore utilizing that declaration, 1956 industrial policy is a continuous process of 1948 to in 1956. Some fundamental changes took place in 8 years, and therefore government thinks and government thought that progressively in the interference, progressively increase in public investment, progressively increase the number of public sector enterprises, that are the important factors which are to be considered in 1956 industrial policy, and therefore the classification, whole classification industry will be rearranged under 3 classification of industries. So the first point of 20-point 1956 industrial policy, first point declares that the mixed economy of 1948 industrial policy will continue, and in 8 years there have been many changes in the economy, and due to these changes it is now necessary to increase at progressive rate public sector investment in the economy to obtain the rapid industrialization in India. And therefore, in the first point, this was accepted. The second point of 1956 industrial policy is related to the fundamental changes which took place in 8 years, 1948 to 1956, that compels to make some fundamental changes in the pattern of investment, in the rate of investment, in the participation of private and public sector in the country, in order to have a progressive rate of industrialization in the country. And in the second point of 1956 industrial policy, it is declared that the Constitution of India had been enacted. In 1948 industrial policy, if you have to write difference between 1948 industrial policy and 1956 industrial policy, first difference that in 1948 industrial policy there was no Constitution of India, and in 1956 industrial policy there is a Constitution of India, and therefore many things will develop in future on the basis of Constitution of India. Constitution of India had guaranteed certain fundamental rights, and these fundamental rights have become important. And along with that, in between 1948 to 1956, there is a enunciating of directive principles of a state policy, and therefore this is great change in 8 years. Planning Commission successfully implemented in organized manner first 5-year plan and completed. In the Parliament, it is declared that there will be a socialistic pattern of society in India under all social and economic policy which is to be followed in coming years. These are the 2 points of 20 points of 1956 industrial policy, and this made clear that there will be many changes in the pattern of industrial policy, in the pattern of allocation of industries in different public and private sector, in the classification of industry. All these in order to maintain the fundamental rights, the Constitution of India, the directive principles of the state policy, Planning Commission working in an organized manner, having 5-year plan, first 5-year plan already implemented, and therefore it is not a abrupt change. It is just a continuity of the 1950-1948 policy in 1956 policy with a bigger role of the public sector, with changes in the industrial policy design under the Constitution of India, under the fundamental rights in India, under the directive principles of the state, and under the organized behavior of Planning Commission of India under 5-year plan. And therefore, Pandit Nehru said that we should not think that there is a change. This is a continuous process. With the growth of the country, we require more progressive rate of industrialization, and which is possible only by some radical change in the structure of industry, in the allocation of industry to different sectors, and investment, public investment and private investment allocation in the process of industrial development. Therefore, the first feature of industrial policy, that is the 20-point industrial policy, first is related to the mixed economy continuance and continuance of the policy in the way that a state would be progressively participate in the field. And the second point, 20 point of industrial policy 56, related to certain fundamental rights related to Constitution of India, related to directive principles of the state policy, and Planning Commission has proceeded on an organized basis. First 5-year plan is completed and we have to go for second 5-year plan, and therefore in view of the socialistic pattern of society as an objective declared in the parliament, we have to think in that way. It is continuity of 1948 industrial policy in a more progressive way towards socialistic pattern of society. And third point, (20-point industrial policy of 1956. We have seen first point and second point. Third point of 20-point industrial policy 1956 is related to mentioning of the Constitution of India. And third point of industrial policy of 1956 states that the Constitution of India in its preamble has declared that it aims at securing for all its citizens justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. The state shall strive to promote the welfare of the people by securing and protecting as effectively as it may be a social order in which justice, social, economic, and political shall inform all the institutions of the nation, national life, that anything, any policy, whether economic policy, industrial policy, other policies of India, each one will concentrate on the Constitution of India, its preamble, and its implementation through several policies, economic policies, political policies, social policy, welfare policy, and likewise industrial policy. Fourth point of 20-point 1956 industrial policy, fourth point, again mentioning that in December 1954, Parliament accepted socialistic pattern of society, and there are many policies in India. That industrial policy is also one of them. Industrial policy is not any exception. There are several policies economic and social policy in India, industrial policy is one of them that has to follow the socialistic pattern society, that has to build and extend the socialistic pattern society in order to give equal rights to all citizens, men and women, to have a livelihood, to have a standard life, which which will control concentration of resources in few hands. And likewise, whatever is written under socialistic pattern of society, that has to be fulfilled through industrial policy of 1956 and other policy which will be constituted, which will be implemented in the country in coming years. And therefore, industrial policy must be governed by these principles and directions of Constitution of India. So there was focus on Constitution of India and its preamble to show that what is the objective of the government of India, what is the objective of the government of India, what will be the method of welfare in India, and there will be equality, there will be justice, liberty, equality, fraternity. These are to be followed by industrial policy of 1956. Likewise, other policy, economic social policy, will follow the same thing. So industrial policy is not a different thing. It is one of the policies, and therefore fourth point of 20.1956 industrial policy declares that in December 1954, Parliament accepted socialistic pattern society, and therefore industrial policy 1956 must be governed by the principles and directions of the Constitution of India. And these are the fourth point of 20-point industrial policy 1956. And therefore, Constitution of India was the main focus. And this was in 1948 industrial policy. There was no constitution, there was no directive principles, there was no planning commission. So that was in the just after independence that was adopted. But the Constitution of India, its preamble, Constitution of India, and thereafter social order to be created on the basis of that Constitution, securing and protecting effectively the welfare of the people. And finally, the socialistic pattern of society as Parliament accepted in December 1954. This is most important part for PT, tick out. December 1954, Parliament accepted socialistic pattern society, and industrial policy must be governed by these policy principles and directions of the Constitution. So this is the fourth point. Now the fifth point, we have already examined that industrial policy 1956 is based upon 20-point program, and we have already examined first point, mixed economy and new development between 80 years. Second point, Constitution of India, directive principles, planning commission, its effect. And third point we have seen, and fourth point we have seen. Now we are having fifth point of Industrial Policy 1956, under fifth point, Government of India directly attacked, directly attacked, directly attacked that there is a development of points. This fifth point of the 20 point of 1956 industrial policy, we find that fifth point states that to speed up industrialization and in particular to develop heavy industry and machines making industry, to expand the public sector and to build up a large and growing cooperative sector is the fifth point of 20 point in industrial policy of 1956. To prevent a state monopoly, to prevent private sector monopoly and concentration of economic power in different fields by the private sectors. It is threat to our objectives, which is under the preamble of Constitution of India and directive principles of the state. Therefore, it is decided that industrial policy of 1956, the state will progressively assume a predominant and direct responsibilities for setting up new industrial undertaking and developing transport facilities. A state trading on an increasing scale will be done by public sector, and at the last it is also said that we will allow private sector and cooperative sector to cooperate with public sector in the development of our country, in the industrialization of our country at a progressive rate. So fifth point of 1956 industrial policy clearly indicates the intention of Prime Minister Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru, that he always declared that public sector enterprises will be used to manufacture from needle to ships or aircrafts. It would produce goods and services for the masses, for the poor people, under the objective of equal opportunities to both men and female to have a decent livelihood. And therefore, in fifth point, it is gradually coming to us that what is the intention of the government. The intention of government is wide scale public sector industrialization in the country, and very little role will be provided to the private sector. It is declared that in 1956 industrial policy, large industry, heavy industry, machine making industry, which will be under public sector. because it means concentration of huge amount of capital is not allowed in the hands of private ownership, which is not to be trusted in that sense, taking the Constitution of India and its preamble. So it is the duty, it is the direct responsibility, it is the duty, it is predominantly and direct responsibility of the state to establish new public enterprises in different heavy industry, machine making industry, and in developing transport facilities in the country. Because Nehru had in his mind the ideals of socialist economy, USSR, and its transport facilities, distribution of electricity, large scale industrialization, all these are their objective. But at the same time, Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru had a good connection with the leaders of the USA. In USA, there is dominance of private enterprises and cooperative enterprises. So he was greatly influenced by the American policy of cooperative industry. He decided to develop industrial cooperatives in India vis-a-vis private sector enterprises. Because private sector enterprises may have some secret design of maximizing profit and exploiting the people, poor people, taking into consideration of rich people of the country and produce those things which are bought by the rich people easily at high price. So they are in private sector are interested in profit maximization and increasing rate of growth of their capital under private sector. Therefore, in order to substitute private sector by industrial cooperative sector, as he had experience in the US economy, industrial cooperatives, agricultural cooperatives, they are working in a very important manner and successfully. And therefore, he time and again says that public sector will occupy all large scale industry, dominant industry, heavy industry, machine making industry, but private sector enterprises and industrial cooperative sector or cooperative sectors principle following industry will be given opportunity to share in the development of India. But prime concern of Pandit Jawaharlal Nehru is to rapid industrialization, progressive rate of industrialization through public sector enterprises, network of public sector enterprises from needle to ship that were in his imagination, and therefore he strived hard on a heavy industry, machine making industry, transport industry, and transport means all types of transport, road transport, air transport, sea transport. So it was long, durable design and a strong determination that Government of India predominantly and directly taking the responsibility of all large-scale public sector enterprises for rapid industrialization of India and thereby change the India from backward and poor economy to a dominating, rich, progressive and equal opportunity to all people in the country, having higher standard of living and all that. So this is the fifth point of 20-point industrial policy of 1956. Then the sixth point of 20-point industrial policy of 1956 is sixth point of 20-point 1956 industrial policy is mainly concerned with the importance of Planning Commission of India. Government decided that any step government will take in consultation with Planning Commission. And so in consultation with Planning Commission, Government of India decided that to classify all industries into three categories. And three categories having regard to the part of which a state would play in each of them. Mind it, classifying it, but under the condition that public sector will play an important role in each of these sectors. This is the indications that public sector will be commanding height in the economy. Public sector will be supreme in the economy. Concentration of economic power will not be in private hands, private enterprise. As we have pointed out that eight industrialists under Bombay Plan had developed how to industrialize India, and who were in with British government India to de-industrialize India. And Pandit Nehru was not in favor of concentration of huge capital in the hands of private sector. So he divided all industry into three categories, but writing with it that public sector can interfere in any of the industries in the country in the interest of the nation and in the interest of Constitution of India, Directive Principles of India, and Planning Commissions, consultations and advice. So, three categories have been divided by Industrial Policy of 1956. It is always open to the state to undertake any type of undertaking for industrial production. So this is clear-cut indication to the private capitalist that their role will be minimum and the larger role will be played by the state. A state is decided to have a state trading corporations, that in the field of exports and imports, state trading corporations will directly intervene, and therefore no dependence on the private sector, and public sector will industrialize Indian economy at a progressive rate. Seventh point of 20.1956 industrial policy states that first category, three category of classifications of industry. In that first category of industry will be related to future development of India, future development of India, and that will be exclusively responsibility of the state. The second category will consist of industry which will be progressively state owned. It means any new enterprise in the second category will be established by public sector, so it is progressively state owned, and which will be progressively state owned, and a state will establish new industries, industrial undertaking. But it is said that private undertakings will be expected to play the role of supplementary, expected to play the role to supplement the efforts of the state for rapid industrializations. And And in the third category, all the remaining industry were put under third category. Here also it is said that if required, a state enterprise will enter in any of the industry in the greater interest of the nation, greater interest of the protecting and of the people from the concentration of wealth in private sector and private businessmen, and there is monopolistic tendency among the private businessmen. If these will occur, then government will interfere in all three sectors. First sector is purely under government sector. Second sector was progressively state-owned. It was few industries were there like Tisco, few industries were there which were established during British India period. So in third category, all the remaining industries are put under its consideration, and mostly consumer goods industries were there. But if government thinks that there is some shortage or there is some discrepancy, some distortions in the economy, distortions of welfare in the economy, then third sector also category maybe government may interfere in that sector. Therefore, this is the three classification of public enterprises, private enterprises, and under three classification, first category takes into consideration of future development of India. Future development of India is related to infrastructural development, related to basic industry, related to heavy industry, related to machine making industry, and in the second category there are state-owned, progressively state-owned industry, and private sector is expected to play a supplementary role to the public sector enterprises if necessary. And the third category, it is said that all remaining industries will be in the third category, and therefore these are the three classifications which are under the seventh point of 20 points industrial policy. Coming to the eighth point, very vital,